everyone, and welcome to today's webinars on common mistakes to avoid when presenting virtually, via Zoom, via Teams, via Webex, whatever platform you may be using. And these are the common mistakes I've observed as both a coach, a participant, and a presenter of virtual workshops, virtual training, virtual meetings. So welcome. Peter Dew's my name, public speaking trainer and coach. My passion is giving you the skills, the confidence to share your messages with your team, with your clients, with the people who you want to influence. All right, let's get started. As I share my screen. So 6 mistakes to avoid when presenting virtually, and I believe it's 7 mistakes. It may even be more mistakes. I'll throw in a few bonus mistakes, and one of those would be checking your PowerPoint slides or whatever audio visuals you have before you start to present. As always, please ask questions, drop any comments in the chat, participate. And most importantly, it's the applying what I'm saying to your own circumstances. There'll be that information that's maybe irrelevant to you and you think, well, yeah, that's nice, but doesn't apply to me. But try and find 1, maybe 2 things that you feel that you can use for your next webinar, your next presentation that you are going to do virtually. First thing, get on early. Get on early and test everything out. And this includes your audio connection, your sound. I'm using a headset. If I was at home, I would have a nice boom monodirection Rode microphone. I'm in a hotel room down in Busselton, hence the change of dates. So I do apologize for changing dates. The internet, I was unsure of the internet down here. I have the hotel Wi-Fi, but I also have my mobile phone tethering internet. I tested them both. I do have a backup and I do have a plan B. Should one of them not work, I'd be able to use my phone. So arrive early and test everything beforehand. I'm at a kitchen table here and the height is not right. So I've had to put my case on the kitchen table to raise the height of my laptop and my camera. So getting on early and testing everything beforehand gives you confidence, and also in that but also for the face-to-face. Anyone who's been on one of my workshops know that I would always arrive early. And with your virtual presentations, stuff can go wrong. So should the internet drop out, my mobile phone will still work. Should the power drop out, I've got 7 hours of battery life on my computer fully charged. Now, this is only a 30 minutes webinar, so don't worry about the 7 hours. Should the power go out, I have enough natural light to continue this webinar with a complete power outage. Should I have been an Optus user, then I would have been snookered. But where possible, get on early and test everything. This gives you confidence. And even if you have a colleague or a friend who can jump on early, 15 minutes, and just check that they can see everything and everything is working. The second mistake is a little bit what's going to happen today, and it's the talking head. It's where you just talk and give information. Now, because this is short and sharp and not a training, my ability to engage is going to be limited. But the engagement model I use when I'm contracted, when I'm paid to run some training virtually, is the same one I use face-to-face. But you need to go through it a little bit more frequently, and that is tell. So talk to people, have a conversation, show watch a video, I can stop share. And they do like to see what's happening. So I'm going to go back to my visual aid. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint again. And then the ask. So what do you do to prepare for your webinar? What do you do to make sure that everything's working? What do you do if something's not working? Do you have a plan B? Or if I'm speaking in a particular topic, what would you do if your organization had this particular issue? Now, these questions are things that I want you to think about. I don't need an answer for a few moments. And then, of course, there is the share. So, Bill, I know you had a similar situation a few weeks ago. Would you like to share how you handled that? Stephen, I'd really value your thoughts on that. So I'll pick people out in the meeting randomly and ask them to comment. I won't be mean. I won't assume if they don't have an answer that they're not paying attention. But by going around this cycle every 3 to 5 minutes, I keep people engaged. It's an adult learning model and it's very useful for public speaking. So does that make sense? Are there any comments on this tell, show, ask, share? So you don't have to use your PowerPoint all the time, especially when it's less of a short, sharp instruction like I'm doing now and more of a meeting. You can bring up the PowerPoint as a visual aid. Maybe you've got some data, a chart, maybe a pie chart or some statistics that you, and that visual really helps. But as you know, you can always stop share. And this is when you can go and have a chat. So what do you think, Ben? Stephen, I'd really value your input. Cheryl, I know you've had similar experiences. And this is where it's less death by PowerPoint. And it's not just my talking head. The other people on the meeting or the training start to contribute. And if I see someone who maybe I feel is zoning out, or maybe they've got their camera closed, I can ask them that particular question. And it keeps people on the edge. And this works in face-to-face meetings as well as in Teams and Zoom meeting. So don't just be a talking head like I am today. Use the engagement model, ask questions, get people to comment and contribute to meetings. Tell, show, ask, share, circulate through that every 3 to 5 minutes. The tell appeals to those people that learn from listening, the auditory learners. The show, here's my PowerPoint, helps those people that are kinesthetic. What does that feel like? Let me have a go. Lack of interaction. One-way conversation, talking head syndrome. So interaction strategies, launch a poll. Poll everywhere, Mentimeter, on people's phones, launch a poll. So I'm here today to talk to you about public speaking skills, but I could talk to you for 30 minutes and be on the wrong topic. So I'm going to launch a poll. Pick the number one issue for you, overcome fear. What do I do if my mind goes blank? What if I speak too fast? What do I do with my hands? What's the number one thing you'd like to learn from me? So that is launching a poll. It helps you to engage because they now have to go away and do something. So this is the ask or the share for the kinesthetic people. It also informs you, all right, fear is the biggest issue. I'm going to spend more time on overcoming the fear of public speaking. No one's worried about what to do with their hands, their gestures. So I don't need to spend much time on that because I won't be addressing your needs. You can collaborate. There are whiteboards that you can share that people can add their own comments. Mira, M-I-R-A, is one of the collaboration tools. You can do post-it notes. And even with Zoom, which I'm using now, I should be able to launch a stop share. And I should be able to launch a whiteboard. New whiteboard. And that should be launching. And so we can type into this whiteboard, we can add comments, we can share. So it's a collaboration tool. I'll just end that and I'll go back to my share screen. There's those complex collaboration tools. Mira is one of them. It's free, and there's just the basic whiteboard. The other thing I sometimes do is I'll stop share and I'll launch another camera and I'll have a manual flip chart over the side. And because I've got two cameras, one camera at me and then another camera off to the side, when I do a tell, show, ask, share, if someone shares something or asks a question, and I might say, well, that's really interesting, let's capture that, I'll just switch cameras and then write that down on the parking lot or the whiteboard that I'll go back to later on. Share a video, service a car, change your tire. Make sure you optimize for video, optimize for audio. To just share is may lack quality in terms of the audio. Optimizes for video, and you may embed the video within your PowerPoint slide. You copy the code, put it into PowerPoint slide, and it will run. Or you may go to a website and launch a YouTube video. It's up to you how you share a video. And you can go into breakout rooms. Breakout rooms is good when you have a bigger group and you need to do some collaboration. One thing that annoys me is when people launch breakout rooms for no real reason. Just because Zoom's got breakout rooms, Teams got breakout rooms, let's go into breakout rooms and have a chat. Why? So please, if you're going to use breakout rooms, brief everyone up front the reason, and there should be some outcomes or expectations as a result. There's a chat and we start talking and sharing a little bit about our stories, and next minute we brought back and we've achieved nothing in that breakout room. Next common mistake, people ignore the camera etiquette. My screen is down here. My keyboard is down here. I need to look at it periodically, but my audience is down the camera. I think we've all seen on TV, on the news, when people zoom in, meetings where people have laptops and we're looking up their nose. It's called up the nose syndrome. Please understand that we do not want to look up your nose. We want you to be interested in us as the presenter, and your audience is the camera. One of the things I sometimes do is I get a picture. So I print a picture of a happy audience and I tape it behind my camera. And those people, those heads, are who I talk to. So remember, talk to your camera, not to your screen. We understand you will need to periodically look down at your screen and also find out where the keys are, because that's how you move your screen forward. That's how you stop share. Disregarding time. People that go over time or they start late, they don't, they don't honour people's time. The breakout rooms, you're there for 5 minutes, they bring you back after 3. So please, time is really important with Zoom meetings, and Zoom and Teams can be a little bit more clunky. So you may need to allow extra time as you're switching screens, as you're stop sharing, as you're launching a whiteboard, as you're running a poll. Everything takes a little bit longer. And if you've got a 30-minute webinar or you've got a 45-minute meeting, really, please honour people's times. Removing distractions or interruptions. We've all seen the child come walking in on their scooter, on their trike, or riding their trike. We've seen the husband walk past the window in the background wearing their underwear only. We've seen mobile phones ring. Oh, just excuse me, I'll turn off your mobile phone. If you were in a newsroom, if you were in a radio station, there'd be a big red light above the door, on air. And on air lets people know you don't walk in and distract. Now, even if you're in a workspace where there's multiple people and you're going to have a headset, you need to let them know that you're going to be Zooming. And I've got a blurred background because I have a photo and I'm in a hotel room. So the blurred background allows you to do this from your kitchen table. But any distractions that you can remove. I would, as a professional speaker, encourage drinking water. Would I encourage eating a hamburger, chewing on a biscuit? Probably not. If I was running a one-day workshop virtually, which I have done, I would break every 50 minutes. It's a long time to run 4, 5, 6 hours via Zoom or Teams or Webex. So every 50 minutes, I'd go and have a 10-minute break and I'd turn the camera off. And that's when you have your drink and your snack, in my view. And then define morning tea, 15 minutes, and a defined lunch of 30 to 45 minutes. Remove distractions. Too much content. This webinar comes from an ebook, which I've written on how to present virtually, how to be an effective virtual presenter. And I think there's probably 15 tips, maybe even more, on how to be effective with your virtual presentations. I've chosen a small subset of that because too much information and you may not learn anything of value. It's called cognitive overload. And remember my preface. My aim is that you'll walk away with maybe 1 or 2 things that you can use in your next virtual presentation. And I like to keep it a simple process. So these are not the 6, but the 7 mistakes I've shared with you today. So the first one is get on early and test everything. Make sure everything is working. Having a backup plan should your main internet drop out. Can you quickly switch to your mobile phone, your mobile device? Make sure your laptop's fully charged in case there's a power out. Is there enough natural light? While I have 2 studio lights in front of me in my office in Perth, if there was a power outage, I also have shutters that I can open up in front of me that would provide natural light. Engaging the audience. So this is the tell, the show, the ask, the share. Go through that. Lack of interaction. So what interaction devices resonate with you? What might you try? Have you tried Mira? Mira is worthwhile. Mira.com, I think, is what it's called. Launch your virtual breakout sessions with purpose. share a video, use some other collaboration tools. Do make it interactive. Don't have the camera up your nose. Stick to time, remove those distractions, and don't do too much. I'd value your comments and thoughts. We're going to end early, and apologies for changing from yesterday to today, but something cropped up inadvertently. And this webinar recording will be emailed to all of you. And any other questions, any other comments, or if you would like my ebook on effective virtual presentations, send me an email. So this is Peter Dew, public speaking trainer and coach, thanking you for your participation.